If there's anything Tyler Perry's good at, it's creating a cornucopia of melodramatic, underwhelming, chaotic storylines that blend together at the same level as water and electricity. And although he has had stronger moments in his theatric career, his latest film, Mea Culpa, reminds us of why Tyler will always be his worst enemy. Which is why, in today's video, I'll be reviewing Mea Culpa, breaking down the principal cast and their performances, and the overall impression of the film at large. Before we get started, if you haven't seen this movie and care to watch, this review will include spoilers, so watch at your own discretion. Ready? Let's go. I want to preface this review by saying that I have no idea what this movie was really about in the end, and that it left me, as I'm sure it did many viewers, with more questions than answers. With that said, let's jump into the less than stellar acting performances, starting with Kelly Rowland. Despite Kelly's talent, her portrayal of Mea lacked depth and authenticity. The direction provided to her seemed inconsistent, leading to a performance that felt forced and unnatural. Mea's character is supposed to come from a privileged background, but Kelly's attempt to convey this through her dialect and pronunciation fell flat, becoming too exaggerated and on the nose. As a result, I struggled to suspend my disbelief, hindering my immersion in the story. Her acting failed to convey the hard body required for the role, leaving Mea feeling one-dimensional and unconvincing. During the scene when Mea asked Zaire if he wanted to die by lethal injection, her facial expressions were so frozen while trying to maintain a professional atmosphere with Zaire that at one point it looked like her face was barely moving, appearing more paralyzed instead of the stern expression she was trying to convey. And although Mea is book smart, she was extremely dense and naive throughout the entire film, to the point that I didn't care what happened to her. From her continuing to show up to Zaire's house, to calling her brother-in-law of all people to help her, after she revealed her affair with Zaire, it was clear that she was responsible for her own possible demise. Not to mention that after she realized that her entire family was responsible for setting up Zaire, which should have been obvious to her long before she figured it out, she still trusted her husband to help her. If I were her, I would have considered everyone a suspect, no matter what her mother-in-law told her. Because it's evident that her husband didn't have any intentions of getting off the Similac his mother kept him on. However, it's worth noting that Kelly isn't a bad actress, because I've seen her do much better in other roles. Her poor performance was more of a reflection on Tyler Perry's poor directing and writing. The casting of Mea's husband appeared mismatched to me, with Sean Sager's youthful appearance contrasting starkly with Kelly Rowland. This disconnect between the characters' ages affected the chemistry between them, making their relationship feel unconvincing and disjointed. The lack of believability in their dynamic undermined the emotional stakes of the story, leaving me feeling disconnected from the character's journey. Not to mention, he was just as dense as Mea. Since when did 911 call a person back and they respond with, "Yeah, 911"? Not to mention the hilarious scene in which he attempted to get angry after finding out that Mea cheated on him with Zaire. I will give him a partial point for keeping the gaslighting consistent throughout the majority of the film, but overall, the portrayal of Cal failed to resonate with me, detracting from the overall impact of the film. Let's talk about Ronrico Lee's character. I found Ronrico Lee's performance as Jimmy to be quite lacking due to the unclear directing and characterization. His portrayal of the character of Jimmy felt disjointed also, with his accent and age portrayal appearing completely out of place. It was as if his character was constantly switching between personas, being a PI one second and not a very good one, seeing as he led Mea to believe her husband was cheating on her again, while being a confidant to Mea in the next, leaving me feeling confused about his priorities and purpose. Although his mistake was honest, it does raise a red flag on the boundaries Mea has with Jimmy, who seems very comfortable with continuing to spy on her husband throughout the day. Overall, Ronrico Lee's performance was okay, but his character's motives made him feel like an overprotective big brother, which he deemed himself as, rather than a valuable PI which he needed. Now, I won't spend too much time on this one, but let's get into it anyway. The portrayal of Mea's mother-in-law leaned heavily on melodrama, as if we're surprised, marking her as another one of many replicas of past female villains that Tyler Perry has written. Her character's behavior was exaggerated and over the top, making it difficult for me to take her seriously. The overall dramatic nature of her interactions with Mea detracted from the realism of the movie, bordering on caricature rather than genuine character development. Moving on to the equally uninteresting villain, Ray. Like his mother, Mea's stepbrother Ray was an obnoxious and annoying villain. There isn't much more else I can add to this, as I felt his character spoke for itself. I wanted to fast forward every time he or his mother appeared on the screen, and it's safe to say that this guy was a jackass for no other reason except because he could be, and because his equally obnoxious mother was an enabler. Last but certainly not least, let's talk about Trevante Rhodes as Zaire. Trevante Rhodes might have been the best actor out of this entire cast, which isn't saying much, as his character was flat and just as monotonous as Mea, and didn't seem to have any real clear motives or goals. Was he a player who just enjoyed sleeping with every attractive woman he met? And if he loved his girlfriend that he was accused of murdering so much, then why was it so easy for him to say that he loved Mea? He spent like 20 minutes explaining why he knew he was attracted to Mea and why she felt the same for him. We never heard any more about his grievances about the loss of his girlfriend or any inclination that he even cared about getting off the case when it came to what he wanted from Mea. His character was obnoxious and mysterious with his forced charisma and pickup lines, and all the wrong ways that counted, which left me not caring if he was guilty or not. If you haven't seen Trevante Rhodes in anything else, I'd highly recommend watching Moonlight or Bird Box, as his performances were much better and more indicative of his talent and range as an actor. Overall, in Tyler Perry fashion, he convinces great talent to get on board with his projects and probably pays well, but doesn't know what to do with them because, well, he isn't a great director or writer. I'm not sure what the emotional takeaway is from each of these characters, especially Mea, who unfortunately I didn't feel anything towards. This by far had to be the worst directing and writing I've seen from Tyler Perry thus far. As I just mentioned, he's never been a great director, but compared to a couple of his previous works, he's shown that he's capable of much better than this nightmare. The directing was so bad that it seemed that even Tyler Perry didn't even know what to do with the characters he created. I wasn't sure what to make of the plot of the movie, as it seemed that Tyler Perry had a vested interest in getting off on shock value, which in this case was pushing his own boundaries and illustrating erotica entertainment, rather than staying focused on creating a cohesive narrative that was still plenty entertaining and great. It was only after Mea went to the Dominican Republic that I remembered that her initial purpose was with helping Zaire on the case. There was hardly any emphasis on proving his innocence, especially connected to the girl who we couldn't care about either, because even in her absence was felt to the point of becoming irrelevant. I'm giving this film a 2 out of 10 simply because I know these actors are fortunately much better than what they showed in this movie, and because the on-screen chemistry between Kelly Rowland and Trevante Rhodes wasn't a total failure. Perhaps if they were to act in something else together, the steamy chemistry between them would be better than the mess that is Mea Culpa. But that is all the review that I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, and click that bell so you don't miss any future uploads, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye!